And now, wait, I have to actually now. See, now you two can be heard since I had to do like all kinds of stuff. Yeah, so there was that.
So really, we could say whatever we want.
Yeah.
And no one would know what we're saying.
No, they absolutely now know what you're saying because your microphones were never off. Theirs were.
Never mind.
Only we can say whatever we want.
Yep. So, yeah.
Except it may or may not be picked up through yours.
Exactly.
Talk loudly and clearly.
Right.
I'm sorry. I didn't hear you there.
Try not to enunciate
too much.
What do you guys want from me?
That was
maybe not yelling directly in the microphone. That's right.
My junior high choir teacher is like in pain and he doesn't know why. It's because of you.
but you guys can hear us just fine.
Yeah. So
sorry, Mr. Wooden.
Right. So I will already apologize to everyone on stream. These two might have a bit of an echo to them. There's almost nothing I can do about that. And
It's his fault.
Echoing?
I spent maybe close to like
2 minutes.
the 10-15 minutes over there when I was just having you two talk. It was just to try to get rid of an echo.
You really didn't put much effort into that.
You know what? As someone that was sitting right there, you go to hell.
Someone who's done
closer
IT
to my
You
mouth.
get
troubleshooting
maximum
for-
effort, okay?
I have done IT troubleshooting for years, and sometimes it takes hours to days to figure out the issue.
You're not
Maybe you
wrong.
should put in that kind of
Well,
effort.
maybe if I actually was able to go and have
I
you
can't
guys
rap.
over here all day, every day, for 3 days, I could actually go and have it where I set up those microphones specifically to you. But since I can't, suck a dick.
Hey, I got a solution for you. Get an office.
We built a table last night.
That all of you can't see.
None of you can see.
It looks there
really
and it's
good.
quite level.
Long and hard.
Go suck it.
Yeah. Especially in the
Okay,
corner.
I was.
You're gonna get
told-
splinters.
You're not making this any better.
I was gonna say
any
pulp,
better.
but that works too. That white pasty thing that is very sticky.
Okay, now I want to know. Okay, who's Rap God? Okay, because I am not Rap God.
I don't see
Not
it.
me.
Yeah, so Eb over inside the
Yes,
chat
Eb,
test
I am.
mics by singing Rap God.
Okay.
Okay, it's
Yeah.
it's
I
either that's a
rap.
person or it's a song that I don't know any.
Must be a
You don't
any,
know
like-
Rap God?
No, I
Eminem,
don't.
man. It's
Miles
Eminem.
Morales, is that you?
Yeah.
Are you in this dimension? It's him.
Story time. So, okay, the place where we work at, myself and Ethan and whatnot, shipping company, and you just get used to average person walking like that actually gets a job over there. Whether they do a good job or not. I won't say that their IQ is low, but there are certain people on there that can be.
Below average.
They can be special.
Yeah.
They can be special.
Improvements could be made.
Very much so. So I don't really talk a lot about cosplay over at work, except for over to this guy. But one of our coworkers overheard us, and all of a sudden he was all like, "Oh my God! So with Spider-Man coming over to FanX, are you going to be doing a Spider-Man?" I'm like, no, but I mean, I will be doing a Spider-Man sometime in the future. He's like, okay, not to be racist or anything, are you gonna do a Miles Morales? And I'm sitting there like, not to be racist, but yes, and not because I'm black.
It's like he's also half like Dominican, I think.
Yeah, it's like he's half Dominican and
like
whatnot.
Puerto
Yeah.
Rican. His mom's
Also,
so
the
Spanish.
fact that he literally wears a mask and completely covers himself does
Exactly.
not matter.
Anyone can wear the mask.
Hey, to see, there you go.
You should have just looked him dead in the eyes and been like, I'm doing Kane Parker, bitch.
That would have been lost on him, though.
Exactly, but just that
Spider-Gwen?
little bit of sweet revenge.
Spider-Gwen.
See, no, if I was really doing what I would have done, I would have been like, no, I'm going to be doing Peter Parker, but with a deep tan.
And we're talking Southern Deep.
Because, yeah, you get it, tan lines are deeper in the set. Well, you're not wrong.
Have you never heard that term?
No. Look, today I just found out that
Okay.
jackalopes are real. Alright?
I should bring mine next time if I can find it. My dad had one.
Maybe it escaped.
Stefan
you
also
sure?
thinks cow tipping
Yeah.
is real. He does.
They're making fun of me, and I don't know these things. I'm concerned for my own well-being because
It's country folks. Sound off in the comments. Have you been cow tipping?
Cow tipping.
Cow tipping.
no, like legitimately, if you've been cow tipping, let me know. Let Southern California surfer boy know, because I keep on hearing that this is a thing. I'd have friends over from Idaho go like, we went cow tipping, and I'm like, cows are heavy, all right. And if they don't want to tip over, I would imagine they don't tip over, and there's nothing that a dude is gonna sit here putting his all into it. I've squared up against like Samoans, all right, during football. They didn't move then. A cow weighs so much more. I'm telling you, I don't think this is a thing.
all about
I really don't think this is a thing.
It's about where you are.
This is-
It is.
I
it is
don't give a
completely-
damn.
It's about
Stefan,
science.
it is completely about center of mass and how heavy you push in a specific area.
Cows also have like sheep. You learn this in animal science if you go to like farming schools. They have a nerve on like their butt, and so like if you can like push it hard enough, they essentially like go
Buckle.
numb.
Yeah.
That's how you keep sheep still.
Dudes have that too. It's just a little bit inside. Alright? I'm just saying. I'm calling BS. I'm calling country BS.
Don't knock until you try it.
I mean, smart car tipping's a thing. If you can tip over a smart
Oh
car,
no, that
then
I
you
know.
can tip
That
a
I
cow.
know. Okay,
Come on. It is completely plausible.
Okay, not only is smart car tipping a thing, you know that you can put a smart car over on top of another car. I've done this.
Hey, Stefan. So
Probably should say things like that on
No.
video broadcast.
No, it's okay. It was my friend's car. He knew that we were doing it.
Oh, okay. That's
speaking of like fucking around with cars and stuff like that, when my mom was in college, she had an old '60s Beetle, and she played chicken with it and didn't back out. Front end went. She hydroplaned into a pole. The front end went, and then when she was in college, a bunch of her friends decided to pick it up and put it in a curved stairwell.
The same car? Oh.
See, I've put a
After
lot
it had
of.
been restored from my grandpa, so she comes out. She's like, "Where's my car?" And she looks up and just sees the little tiny hood, and she just was like, "How do I get that out?"
You don't.
How did
That
you
is
get
the
it out?
answer.
Her friends got it out for her.
It's like
The ones that put it in there.
How did that horse get up there? It's like shapeshifters.
I've always wanted to saran wrap a car though.
Don't do
It
that.
is a horrible
It's
thing.
okay. Not only is
Sticky notes.
No.
So
I would
that
do it to
person-
my enemies.
See, it's
it
so
also
easy.
doesn't come off.
No,
That's why I
okay.
would do it to my enemies.
There are two things that are worse than that. Sticky notes because they take forever to take off, and even if you
Flour.
spray them down with water, no, worse than that.
What?
Honey and sand.
Yeah.
Oh,
If you put
that.
honey down and sand, you can't see the sand. So when you try to go wipe off the honey, it scrapes the hell out of whatever you're
Ooh.
trying to clean it off.
Thank you for this.
You know, I think pythons
some.
are also scary. Any wild animal in a car?
30 to 50 feral hogs in a car.
I mean, even if I saw a tipped over cow in my car, I'd still be terrified. Like,
Big car.
yep.
So anytime somebody talks
No, it was a
about
really
cow
small
tipping-
car, just tipped into it.
Tipped into it.
Anytime I hear cow tipping, I
Go.
think of that scene from Cars where they put tractors
It's
I just remember
It's like, except you can only do one at a time, and then you have to like book it out of there because you can only do one.
Are they lying?
No, that happened in cars.
No, I know that. God damn you, Beck.
Where do you think they got it from?
I'm just.
Art imitates life, Stefan.
Stefan, do you not think that you can tip over things? Do you think gravity just completely defies the second you try to tip over a living
Like
creature?
cows are just like immune from gravity? No.
Yeah.
They adhere to the laws of physics. You can tip a cow.
Yes.
You know, the bigger they are, the harder they fall.
Exactly.
Mhm.
You know, everyone can tip a cow, but it seems like some people can't tip their waiters.
Hey. And that's the hardest tip. His eye is twitching.
Oh, it happens a lot. Wait till the pinky comes out.
Shut up.
Usually the pinky's directed at me.
Yeah. Like. Well, I touched the mic.
No, like-
no.
It's the little bird,
lived
all
in
right? It's the
Japan
little
for a
bird.
while.
All right, the little bird.
Little
The
bird.
big bird is F you. The little bird is I don't like you much right now.
He lived in Japan for a while. It's
They're all small down
'cause
there.
the pinky to me is tamaki, and when you're putting down a teacup, you use the pinky as a cushion. As a
Yes.
cushion.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Etiquette.
Yeah, right.
Etiquette. Rich people educating the poor.
What?
Pinky cushion.
Hey, you guys are
And cow
rich.
tipping.
Apparently she is.
They're from a
That's
farm,
news to me.
obviously.
Oh, we win one cosplay competition, Carly.
Yeah, all that money.
They
you
get-
guys.
yeah, all that
You
money
guys
you
are
got.
rich. I must be a billionaire because I did too.
Yeah.
Yes.
Pass it on that.
I'm up there with you, Jessica Negri. Yeah.
Jessica Baker.
I'm still thinking about the science of this.
I
swear to
know you
God,
are,
I'm
Stefan.
still
We-
thinking about
we
this
know you
physics.
are.
I'm literally just sitting here like, okay, wait. If I have
It's
this
like
sort of momentum
math
and this sort of
equation.
math,
Oh my god, we need to make a Stefan version of the math equation.
And cows?
Eb, can you do that for me?
Yes, please, Eb. You are the artist.
I will support you.
like if you seriously feel my ears, you'll feel the heat that's coming out of my brain right now.
This is
Now
It's like-
everybody
it's
feels
literally
it.
just like,
Holy shit.
yeah, that happens when I start thinking a lot. They get really hot. Like legitimately, they're like heat sinks. So sometimes, like
I
every
can
now and
imagine
then.
you're like a ninja going through like the dark terrain, and your enemy has like heat things, and you're like one of those ninjas
One of
with
those
the coolest
two
body,
red
but then you
things.
stub his toe, and you just see two little boop on the heat wave crackers.
Story time. So over in our physics class, my teacher went and this was junior year of high school. They went and they put they actually built thermo glasses and whatnot off of an old Raspberry Pi, like way long ago. It was actually pretty cool and whatnot. So we went and made them, and he was really just trying to show us that there's temperature changes like all throughout the space. So like inside the classroom, outside the classroom, things you think that are cold are actually really hot and stuff like that. And he would do it to like everything, and then I put them on and whatnot. I was like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then all of my friends would sit there and put them on, and then they looked over at me and they're like, why does he have two red things over on the side of his head? Like, he's orange, and this is, like, bright red, almost white. And like, at that time, the teacher's like, I don't want to say anything. It could be racist. And I'm like, no, say stuff. Say stuff. Like no. Now I need to know if black people have like super heat, like going over. No, I just started realizing that like when I start thinking a lot, my ears get really, really hot. So then the entire rest of the year, they would sit there and like come up and you go, Stefan is hard at work.
I feel like dealing with us, your ears should have just like spontaneously combusted.
And no, it happens when I think a lot, not when I'm mad.
Maybe
when
you're
I'm
just-
mad and all that kind of stuff, nothing. But if I sit there
Think, why
thinking
the
for
hell you
too
brought it
long,
together?
Spontaneous.
Yeah,
emotion.
It's like rabbit
It's a
ears.
thing.
Like the reason why they're so big is because that's their circulation and like a radiator.
Yeah,
'Cause
see-
they have their veins and
Mhm.
I
arteries
was
going
just
through it,
gonna
and that's
say-
why it's so big when it's
Yeah.
like this. It's actually cooling like that.
So I was gonna
Yeah.
say that maybe he's just an elephant.
I'm
He's
disguised.
thermoregulating over here.
I'm part
Elephant.
rabbit.
No, you're part jackalope.
Jackalope.
Yeah, part jackalope.
Jackalope.
No, okay, god damn it, you guys.
'Cause some people
We'll get
don't
him.
think you
We'll get
exist,
him
but
some
you
ears and
do.
antlers. Just pop him
We are
on.
not turning him into a furry.
I didn't say he's
Yeah.
a furry. He's actually the animal.
No, we're gonna get him a furry.
Straight to the animal.
No furries.
Oh my god,
There's
Cole
a
can be
difference.
Bigfoot.
There's a suit and being
The
the
size
real
15
thing.
shoes.
Anthropomorphic people are furries. Fight me on this.
We're gonna
But
get
he
a
wouldn't. He
tail.
wouldn't be anthropomorphic.
Scaly?
We'd put
Scaly.
those. See, he wouldn't
Fishies?
be. He wouldn't be anthropomorphic. As soon as you put those on, he turns into an actual jackalope.
So
More
he's an
science.
anamorph, which
Yes.
is also incredibly twisted. And
That is
Should
great.
not be considered as children's books, but
What do you mean?
They
They're not
are.
dark at all or
Yeah, it's not
anything.
dark.
yeah, my bones split and I felt my entire organs just like merging into one. It's like
See, that sounds like my childhood.
They're also all for free online.
fine.
Did you know that? You can read
Really?
every single Animorphs book for free.
One of
I
my
might
friend
read
knows the
those
guys that
then.
started that.
Oh,
How you remember that is beyond me because
Okay.
I don't think you've read those books since elementary school.
Yeah.
I was literally just about to ask you that, Lexi. Like seriously, what do you not have to know a single thing because she absorbs 100% of everything?
Okay, there was a time that Katie went on a trip with a whole bunch of people, and there was no Wi-Fi, there was no cell service, and they literally nicknamed her Google because if they had a question about anything, she'd be like, actually, in 2012, I read a book, and it stated that, and then she would just spit out information. So honestly, it's the greatest thing in the world because, like, I know a decent amount of things, but anything I don't know, I can, she will just either know it or just bullcrap it enough that I'm like, science, yes, of
So
course.
what you're saying is we all need to go on a camping trip and just completely ask questions the whole time. You're like, so how long would it take for me to just walk to the moon? Just straight walk there. If I were to walk at about 5 miles an hour.
I gotta think.
Okay, no, see, I was about to make an analogy that I know you would actually like. So what you're telling me is that you're the taskmaster of actual knowledge?
Oh.
You know, I actually would prefer to be a guardian of Oa. So.
Oh.
Because the guardians know everything.
Yeah, you're not wrong.
And
You're not wrong.
And like, I know Green Lantern is really, really trashy, but like,
She's
Trashy to
I am
who? But
such
trashy to
trash.
who? Okay, because Green Lantern, I'm sorry, when they did like the entire Blackest Night run,
Yes,
is still like
exactly.
gospel.
Okay, no.
Parallax!
Here's the biggest issue I have with them on the generations that they continuously release. They always make an introductory Green Lantern.
Okay, yeah.
So it's super easy to get into, except for this most recent one. It is so in-depth Green Lantern that even people who have been reading Green Lantern for years are like, what is going on?
This isn't Jessica Cruz, is it? Or is this Limelight?
I think it's Limelight. I'm gonna have to look it up. You ever seen?
Don't look it up. Just keep asking.
Let's see.
Oh no, we have
You ever-
Wi-Fi here.
You ever seen Comicstorian before?
No.
Yes. Okay. First off, you should check out Comicstorian because you
Okay.
probably love him. But he's got he just put out one recently because he's a huge Green Lantern fan.
I
and
love
he
Green
goes
Lantern so
off
much.
about it.
She does.
Like, whenever I tell people, like, my favorite superhero, not favorite superhero character,
Yeah.
is Hal Jordan. You're like, really? You like Hal Jordan? It's like, yes, I like Hal Jordan!
Yeah.
Why don't
You can't love a superhero because you have to love the character, or not the character. You have to love a specific version of them. Because if you love them, then you got to know everything about them,
Oh,
or at
yeah.
least look into it. Otherwise, you just like them.
Yeah. And, like, people like Green Lantern is like, oh, but Guy Gardner sucks. It's like, yes, Guy Gardner does suck.
Yep.
I agree. That's why
Yes,
I like
he
Hal
does.
Jordan.
Hal Jordan is honestly the best so far.
My phone's stuck to my thigh.
He obviously
Welcome
does
to
not
summer.
have the same. He doesn't have the same thought process.
He
on
probably thinks that Ryan Reynolds is like the end all be all of like all of Green Lanternness, which he is not.
it. Okay.
Ryan
let-
Reynolds
to be-
destroyed 2 comic characters for me. 3 comic book characters for me.
Well, he
Who was
plays
the third?
one
X-Men.
twice.
Wolverine.
He plays
That
Ruined Deadpool
abortion
Wolverine.
that was the Wolverine origins. That's not the same character.
It's
Dude,
like
Yeah.
Stryker finally found
That-
a way to shut you
that
up. That
is-
one in Wolverine Origins, Green Lantern,
Yeah.
and do you not like him as Deadpool?
Don't like him as Deadpool.
I don't like him as Deadpool either.
You haven't even seen Deadpool.
No, I don't like him as Deadpool because to me he's not. That's not the Deadpool I grew up reading it in Deadpool and Cable.
Okay.
Okay, so
So did you like not like
What
Deadpool 2?
is Deadpool's favorite food?
Chimichangas?
Thank you.
Yeah.
Why does he keep on saying tacos?
Because
he-
it's
okay.
freaking funny.
Here's the
Okay.
thing.
Because-
It's literally a mockery of the
He-
chimichangas thing.
The entire Deadpool movies is a mockery of the Deadpool fan base because
Yes.
the Deadpool fan base is the worst fan base on the planet.
And see, and
Worse than Harry
that-
Potter?
Worse than Harry Potter?
That,
Is
like,
that fan?
we didn't say toxic.
didn't
We
say
just
toxic. The line, I haven't crossed it yet. You're like right here. No, but like, talk to any Deadpool fan, and they're like, Deadpool's the greatest because he breaks the fourth wall. It's okay, but why does he break the fourth wall? It's because he knows that you're watching him, and he knows that you're doing these things, and he's gonna do these things to make you look like the worst kind of person on the planet because you like him, because he is also the worst person on the planet. And he's doing these things to sabotage you.
But why did he?
So-
But why did he start doing it? Because he had multiple personality syndrome.
Yes.
Which is why, like I said, it's like the Deadpool that's in the movies is not the one that I love, and it's not the one that I grew up with. So thus, I sit there and go like, no, you ruined.
But it's still
you
one of the
ruined-
Deadpools.
It's
So even
Deadpool
so,
is-
I will still say like he ruined the character that I love because that's not the one I love. I love
okay, but
original Deadpool way
here's-
back when.
Here's the
But
thing, though. Deadpool is a mockery of everything that has to do with superheroes in general.
You're not
and,
wrong.
And the Deadpool movies is to be a mockery of Deadpool. So
And make
it's in
money.
honor of the
the
comic
first Deadpool movie is a rom-com.
book. Is it really?
Yeah, it's a rom-com. He does the whole thing. I can't remember her name. My friend Sierra's gonna kill me because she made me watch it. I can't remember her name, but like the whole thing revolves around him protecting her and getting her back from
Yeah.
what's his name, Ajax.
Mhm.
Like it's a rom-com.
Ajax, stronger than Greece.
But yeah, I love the Deadpool movies, and I don't like Deadpool as a character. I think he's a crappy
I-
character because of those reasons. And I don't like the
Yeah.
fans, and so it kind of transfers over. And I'm the kind of
See,
person that like
I-
just don't like him. But I love the movie.
See, I love the Deadpool comics because they're very different. They're really, really funny, and they actually put an interesting combination with a lot of the superheroes he actually does come in contact with. But I don't like the character because
agree with
he's
that.
just a mockery of everything. And though that can be funny sometimes, it gets really old real quick.
I agree.
That, like I said, that's why Deadpool and Cable growing up was so great to go and actually read and whatnot, because it was basically superheroes, but also like it was like Lethal Weapon superheroes. That's all it was.
Like, let's point out all the inconsistencies that everything's wrong with every other movie and
Yep.
comic book, but it works because comic book logic.
Well, I mean, but they were like, it was the scenarios that they would wind up putting them in and whatnot. It literally felt like you were reading Lethal Weapon and whatnot. So it was less about being a mockery of something and more about like, let's put them in some sort of weird situation and then let them go and deal with it. Like, especially dealing with like time travel and whatnot. They put them back over in like Sherlock Holmes era and whatnot, and found out that Sherlock Holmes just wasn't really that smart. That it was Watson doing the entire thing.
He's
So all of a
also,
sudden, their main mission
not a
was
real person, as 50% of UK teens believe.
see, there we go. You know,
If you want to catch that reference, be sure to check out some of the videos we just made today.
that'll probably be done sometime
next week,
next week. Yeah. So, but yeah, it's like I said, it's like the situations that were done over into the comics way back when, fantastic. You know, and then you also go and get things like with Hitman Monkey, you know, and then his relationship with Peter Parker. All of that was fantastic. And then what they did with the movies was like, I don't feel like this is the character that I grew up with, you know.
The
So that's
thing
why I
that-
sit there and go like, it was made more for new fans and people that had come on in like maybe 2016, and everyone else before was like, I mean,
So what
yeah.
it sounds like to me is you like Deadpool when he's with other characters.
No, I like Deadpool.
So-
Like I even like Deadpool standalones and whatnot. But like I said, like Deadpool, he was a PG-13, like he was a PG-13 character for a long time, and then it wasn't until like 2015 or so that it became like an R-rated comic.
Yeah,
See, I've
that's
always
fair.
been under the like I've always thought that Deadpool has been like an R-rated character on purpose from the
No.
beginning.
He was not like he would never cut people down and whatnot. He was basically there like the comic relief. Okay, he was always there as
Okay.
comic relief and whatnot, and he had a certain like power set, but for the most part, he just wasn't that violent. And then all of a sudden, with the games, and then they did this, it was like a dark Deadpool and whatnot, and it just. It basically just rewrote a bunch of stuff, and people started buying more, so they went like, oh, well, let's just change the character. And that's what took me off of Deadpool comics. So I was like, this doesn't feel like the same person I've been reading.
Which is
Yeah.
totally fair because like
Yeah.
they're turning in like years worth of continuity into an hour and a half movie. That's why I have a problem with Civil
Yeah.
War, is because that arc took over 2 years to
Yup.
actually take
All-
place during the Marvel arc, and it spans hundreds of titles.
I mean,
Like-
you look at Spider-Man in general. He didn't start in Civil War, or not Civil War. He didn't start in the Infinity War.
No.
He didn't start. He was generations behind that. But it's like you said, the whole movie thing. I think with Deadpool, the thing that really comes to be the difference is I think it was like, would you say around 2006 era, right? It was right around there. Where it started
2000,
getting
like
darker?
2015, it started. Well, 2014, it started getting dark. 2015, it started reaching this like I'm kind of weird, and then they did like I'm really.
Turned into
I think it
indie
was.
topic.
Well, no, I think it was Matt Fraction that did just this like real version of like graphic novels and whatnot,
Yeah.
and it was
So-
something where. Deadpool Max. Okay, and then all of a sudden it just started bringing this like really dark and like violent end towards Deadpool.
You know,
and
it's
that's when I
interesting
stopped. That's
that
when I
you
stopped
say
reading.
around 2006 because that's when Marvel started to go towards darker character arcs, and that's actually when Ed Brubaker brought back the Winter Soldier.
Yeah.
Was in 2006, and that was one of the very first comic books I ever read, which is why I love the Winter Soldier. And it's
Yeah.
like those brought on darker stories,
Yeah.
not only within Deadpool but with like the entire Marvel universe.
Yup.
And then like they rebooted it. I can't remember which one they did because it's been so many.
Okay, guys,
But-
real quick. So Eb, sorry, just saw your response. So they were saying that the whole math meme that's been going on for a while. You need to do that for Stefan because that's how his brain works. Is just floating math equations all the time. So if you heard me, respond please.
Respond, please.
Do
Respond.
the thing.
Yes.
Y'all
do
are
the
over here
thing.
bitching about superheroes, and I'm like, I'm just fine with Matt Murdock.
Well, even he's super interesting because like the Catholic aspect of all of his character arcs, like I would honestly love to see. Like I know people like are like, he like everyone's getting turned like the different race or a different woman, like a woman. Like I would love to see a female Daredevil.
Yeah.
You never get to see a female character
you get,
struggling
like-
with religion.
You can like stick
Yeah,
the
that's
like
true.
tip of your fake acrylic nail into Elektra, and that's like your female Daredevil, but that's all you're gonna get.
Like I was raised by the Ninja Dark Clan, and I can't get pregnant because no female characters can get pregnant because that's obviously what makes me sad. That's what ruins my life is I can't have
Honest
children.
to God.
Black Widow in the Age of Ultron is like,
Well, I mean,
No.
it's like if you want to go that route, I mean, do a female. Have they done a female Blade before?
I don't know,
Because Blade would be a perfect version
a
of that.
female Punisher.
Ooh, yeah.
Oh
But,
snap!
But I mean, like,
Did you
Oh,
know
snap.
Here's the thing. Here's the thing with Blade, you've got not only religion, you've got supernatural side of it. You also have the tie-in with all the other superheroes. He's got basically everything going for his character.
And like the cultural aspect to
Mhm.
that.
He's not only he has the race thing going for him, the whole sex thing because he's he's like specifically that man kind of character.
Yeah.
So seeing a change like that would be crazy because it'd
Ultra
throw
feminine.
everything over.
Well, like why can't she also be ultra feminine but also be kind of like awesome and butch?
Yeah.
Because like he's half vampire, right?
Yep, exactly.
So like not only is that the race culture, but there's also like the supernatural culture. So he's like two
Stop.
things
Yeah.
that like
Okay, wait. Did everyone pause for a quick second? and Just think about interviewing with a vampire. And go like, ooh.
it's like and vice
Okay, honest to God, I haven't seen it, but he's the only thing I know from it, and I'm just like, beautiful person,
It's
I
like-
want to be you.
I just see Allison Tabitha's cosplay of that, and I'm
Oh,
like, I'm
yes.
content.
I just see Alice and Tabitha, and I just go, ah!
It's like, yep, I love her so
Yep.
much.
You know what would be really interesting to see? Have they has Death Battle done Blade versus Alucard before?
I don't remember.
Because that would
Alucard
be an
Symphony of the Night
amazing
or
fight.
Alucard Netflix Castlevania? Because they're the same, but different.
I'd probably say not the Netflix one because it wasn't even
Because he's
as
like
good.
totally. Alucard
Yeah.
Symphony of the Night at the beginning or Alucard Symphony of the Night at the end? Very similar. Also, Alucard before his face.
Yeah.
came out, and after his face
And then
came out.
Alucard had so many throw-ups afterwards. I mean, I don't even like the Alucard the first game that he had because you spend an entire time going through a castle exploring every single room to get that 100%.
And trying to get your powers back that you had in the
Yep.
very first 5
And
minutes
then
of the game. It's like,
when
what
you
the heck?
hit the boss fight, you find out everything's in another castle and it's the same thing but flipped.
The princess is in
Ah,
another castle.
I'm glad I was
But
thinking that too.
it's freaking genius because they didn't have to like download or create another map.
Yeah,
They just flipped
just
it
did the same
upside
thing,
down,
and it
you
seems-
have twice as much gameplay. It's genius. Also, to breathe underwater, you get a snorkel. And you're all chicken.
Ah.
Wall chicken?
You
Yes.
can find chicken in the wall and it
Yep.
replenishes your health.
It's so stupid, but it's great.
That
I
sounds
had-
like my kind of castle.
Nothing beats the dog food from Duke Nukem, though. Nothing will ever beat that.
I had one question about Castlevania when it came out on
Oh.
Netflix, and I got this spiel times 30.
Yeah, you'd probably get the same thing from us in the nerd community who's played that.
Nerd.
And like Castlevania has so many like
It has so
Oh my
many
gosh.
games. It's changed the story so many
like
times.
like Metroidvanias, like it created an
Yep.
entirely new like kind of video game, and it was like yes.
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 With the Netflix version, like so many more people are being brought into Castlevania. Because I
Yeah.
remember playing a Castlevania game, not knowing it was a Castlevania game until I watched
And I mean,
the show.
the Castlevania, what the hell's the name of the guy with
Trevor Belmont.
Yeah, he's nothing like him. I mean, where the hell's his armor skirt that he wears to every single show?
I don't care because he's a drunk idiot with 2 brain cells.
I know,
love him.
it's great, but he's nothing the same. Nothing.
I don't even
And this episode
care.
of the podcast is brought to you by Katie and Ethan Bitch.
I can't have that as an episode title, but I want that as an
Do
episode.
B asterisk TCH.
I know they won't allow it.
Demonetized. Adpocalypse.
Or you just put a bunch of asterisks and leave it up for the viewers.
Just gonna go. This episode is brought to you by. You know what? I'll work on it later.
Konami.
My dad and cosplay.
You're what?
Konami.
Oh, okay.
What did you
think I said?
That's not.
afterwards?
My Toonami.
Not Toonami, Konami.
My ABA. Next level.
I don't know what you're talking about half the time right now.
Tsunami Code! How do you not know that? Do you not know what that is?
Is this a bad time to go and tell you that I really did not play much
That
video
doesn't matter.
games at all?
It is the cheat code of all cheat codes. Almost every game that has had cheat codes uses that just because of the joke part of it.
Like even if you've seen Ready Player One, you know about that.
Yes.
Like I said,
I mean, for God's sake, the fucking Grand Theft Auto has done it. Call of Duty has done it.
2 games I've not
Battlefield
played.
has done it.
3 games I've not played.
I know that God of War has done it.
4 games I've not played.
Technically, Pokemon
Me
Blue
too.
version
Yes,
did
you
do
are
it,
right. They
and
did
then
do
they
it.
fixed it.
Yeah. And
5
then
games I did not play.
They also did what the
I played
hell's the
Red.
name of that game? It's the I'm gonna be shot in the head for not knowing the name of this. It's what the hell is it called?
The
It's
name of
gonna
the
drive
title.
me nuts.
What
It's
happens?
It's an alien game, and it's got it's an RPG style.
Prey.
No,
Mass
not that.
Effect.
Yes, Mass Effect. Thank
Damn
you.
it.
You're welcome.
Have you
Mass
played Mass
Effect.
Effect?
Many times. Many times. I've got no. Wait, where's that Mass Effect?
I believe it's a Mass Effect 2.
Dulce Mass Effecto.
Which is not what it's called in Spanish.
No.
You just add an O at the end of everything. Unless it's feminine, then you add an A. And
Or if you're progressive, you add an X.
Ah, you're right.
Latinx.
That Dos Ex.
¿Por qué?
Somewhere
X?
Gabriel Iglesias is like shaking his head and he's like, Fluffy, no.
I swear to God, if Gabriel Iglesias is watching this, we done good.
Chime in,
He
Gabriel
just feels it and he
Iglesias.
doesn't know why.
All of a sudden, you just see a comment pop up.
It's just no.
From Fluffy.
So everyone just write no in the chat.
No.
Count on you, Eb.
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 See, okay. Well, you know what? You guys keep on crap.
You struggling?
No, I was like, this is a good part to do the ad read. Crap, I need to find the ad read.
Find the ad read. While he
It's
is
a pop
finding
socket.
Wait,
Pop
is that
I
the
hate
same
those.
pop socket you
Yeah,
have on your phone?
Exactly.
That is your
That's
phone.
horrible.
You have the Raven one?
This isn't my phone. This is yours.
This is my phone.
Yes.
Are you saying that to me? I was like, dude,
I
what?
looked over
You
and I
have a
was
pop
like,
socket on your phone.
hey,
Wait,
Katie has
that's my
that same
phone.
pop socket and the same
I've
phone.
never
I also
done
have
this?
the exact same Bakugo sticker on it.
Fucking Bakugo.
I couldn't see
I haven't
it.
even
Do
seen
you
My
guys-
Hero
you
Academia.
see
It's
this?
Bakugo.
Ed.
God damn it.
What did Eb do?
I cannot
Ed's is
wait
like-
for.
I'm not your mom. What do you
Dude,
want?
Bonsai Friday. I'm doing another Bakugo because I live for that character.
No, I was talking about the FanX My Hero panel that we're. Yeah.
That you should invite me to.
FanX,
That
September
you can
5th
just
to
walk
the
through the
7th.
doors and just go.
And just like walk up there and be like, I'm here.
Oh,
And give you my
oh.
water bottle.
Be there.
Bottle.
Oh, have you not been a panelist over FanX?
No!
Oh.
Hey,
neither.
get me on the panels.
Ah!
We're going to be on one.
You're
I know
on a
I'm gonna get
panel
on
now.
one, but get me on more. Get me on
Yeah.
all of them. I want to be
Talking
all the
about
panels.
panels.
If all of you cons
the-
can hear me, I want to be on panels.
And,
just
I
wanna
like
talk about
to
things.
speak.
and panels want to be on.
Getting you to shut up is the challenge.
like, Bruce,
That was
you
your
are
panel.
listening.
You
Getting
are
Ethan to shut up.
If you guys could do that, I would be
Chaos Corner,
impressed.
Ethan version. Y'all suck at this video game.
I always have to chime in with something.
Ethan's
Always.
punishment is to shut up.
Oh.
Can't do
I like
that
this-
to me.
Hey,
no, you're not going to be there. You don't get to do
You
it.
don't know that yet. Neither do I, but you don't know that
We
yet.
are not having a repeat of Wolverine Origins. Stryker is not going to finally find it. We talked about this earlier, like, I don't know, like 20 minutes ago when we were ranting about Deadpool. Find a different
What,
way.
Eb? Eb's trying to get my attention. What? Do you want me to dab? Is that what it is?
No.
Do you want
no.
to?
Get the hell out. No, you're doing yours wrong. Yes.
Pudding.
Hey, praise the sun.
T-pose. Please don't.
T-pose?
You
You
said
got it.
something and then he did it.
Alright, are you
It's
ready,
that
sir?
simple.
Did you find it?
I am.
What,
I am.
What did you look? What
I-
are you doing?
I've got.
That's my
Good
tag.
luck.
You're welcome. Yeah. There we go. Okay. Did you know board games are making a huge comeback? We are in the golden age of tabletop gaming, and look no further than Game Haven for all your all your board game and card game needs. Board games are perfect for playing with friends, getting the family together, and great at being and being a great social platform to meet new people. Right now, I'm actually going in and getting. I don't know what you all are doing. I'm getting ready to start a new campaign over in Settlers of Catan, so that's going to be something that I'm looking forward to. At some point, I want to go and play this game with you guys. I fear for you, like specifically you.
Why? Is
It's a
something going up my
It's
anus?
a resource collecting game, and it's going to be great fun.
That is a resource collecting game up my anus. I don't want to do it.
And you're going to do it. You're going to do it. Anyway.
I'm going to wear a butt plug.
As long
Okay.
as the ones that look like the ninja darts, you're good.
I was going to say I'm going to have a tail. I was going to say tail. It's going to be an animatronic foxtail.
That moves according to your mood.
Mm-hmm.
Ooh, he's happy.
Well, I don't know if that's going to happen, but you can find these great games and many others at Game Haven. They have a huge selection from old classics to hot and new titles at all of their locations. You can also find them online at yourgamehaven.com or on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram at yourgamehaven. Game Haven, your stop for the best gaming experience.
Now, please continue.
What about
Let
a
us have
butt
this
plug?
subscription.
I'm not going to actually put a butt plug in my butt. Please don't go to my butt. Carly, get your hand away from my butt.
Okay, but in all seriousness, Game Haven really is really cool.
It's way fun.
We were there at Free Comic Book Day in
Yeah.
May, and it was so cool.
They have
Yeah.
pretty dice.
They have Die Hard dice,
They
like on
do.
demand. You don't have
That
to
is
wait.
great.
You just have to go there and get it.
Well, they're
They
having
even
a
have,
mini
like-
con
That's
Yep.
right.
August 31st at their Sandy
I think
location.
we'll be there.
We will be there August 31st.
We may be there.
August 3D1.
Yeah.
30.
We'll see. It's
Yeah.
a few days before Fenix, and I might be con crunching
Crunching.
Well,
I may not be able
with
to
my
go.
woven fabric and fabric dyed from beets that I grew in my own garden.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Wait, is that how you did the wraps?
Yeah,
Okay.
I wove that with a reed that I got from my local weaving shop called
Yes.
the Needlepoint Joint on 25th Street.
There's a.
Ogden.
I need to go there.
It's dope!
There's a
It's
weaving store here.
Yeah, they have classes and looms and stuff. But like, I did it myself. It was super cool. Lexi actually helped me a lot because she's done it before.
I have done it
I
before.
thought you did it yourself.
I did do it myself, but like, I needed to learn.
It's so much nicer when you have someone to be like, okay, now what you're doing right now is good,
Like,
but this is
don't
how to
do
make it
like
better.
that. So yeah, I
Yeah.
did that, and then I also grew my own beets
She did in the garden.
Also in blue 15-gallon drums that were recycled
Yeah, it was.
Nice.
in a compost
Recycled.
that we'd composted ourselves. I really
Is it human compost?
maybe nothing you
not.
can prove.
Concern.
It's the opposite of, you know, a human compost for, you know, like what you'd see with pigs. We ate the pigs and then used their matter for the composting.
It's all the people that
Exactly.
failed to
Circle
tip a
of
cow
life.
Is it
in that
Soylent-
compost.
That's what
Soylent
happened. to
Green?
Yeah.
I'm out.
Wait, maybe it was Soylent Green.
Stefan.
Soylent Green?
Soylent Green?
I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, that's what I'll
Look
be
it
working
Nobody
on.
ever does.
Don't.
So I don't know. We
Let's
may be
Google.
at Minicon.
Minicon.
I hope to be, but I might be in Cassandra Con Crunch.
She's crunching so
Yeah.
hard for it.
Okay, now over on, like I said, it's like seeing those wraps and whatnot. I really started looking and going like, okay, I kind of now want to also go and do that same thing.
See, and that's why I'm only posting it a month before the competition, so no one can copy me.
See, well, not only just that, I sit there like, okay, I really have no desire to cosplay contest anything legitimately, but I sit there and go like, I wonder if those would make really good boxing wraps, because I'm
Probably
getting
not.
ready to
Probably
go and
not.
do that.
Box-
Yes.
They need to be a little bit more stretchy. And these ones are like really like rigid.
Yeah, see, and that's what I was thinking, because like I couldn't tell with those ones, and I'm like, they look like they would actually be decent as far as absorbing, but as far as like, I'm pretty sure they would scratch the crud out of
Yeah.
nothing.
If
Yeah.
you're looking for actual boxing.
I've already got some. Look right next to you.
I used to box, so I have
too.
everything.
Yeah, it's like I've got it all, but like those wraps I've had probably since I was like
Yeah, just some old battered
16.
ones.
Yeah, it's like so they're just battered and they're
'Cause
just
like I
done.
said, I have some I got last year. You can have them.
Okay.
Yeah,
Good
'cause
conversation.
the thread that we used on it, Lexi did a couple of tests. The thread that I used was 1 millimeter thick,
Mhm.
and then we did another test using 6 strands of thread,
Huh.
and we made a Barbie rug about that big, and it took like what, like
It took like
A wa-
12
like-
hours
It
to
was a
make a
long
one
time.
tiny like
thing like that.
maybe 4 inches by 2.5 inches because it was so fine. Like it was almost sheer. You could see through it. It was kind
Dang.
of like
Were you guys using like a by hand loom?
Oh,
Or
yeah.
You were actually using. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
Like where you
See-
like send the heddle.
the heddle.
See, we
through
had
and
one
then-
of the kind of automatic looms, the step ones. and
Oh,
it was
yeah.
Those are so much nicer.
It is so
Are you supposed
easy
to
do it that
grab
way.
the thing?
No, this isn't one.
Don't look at me. Look at them. Like you're
You know how to curve a bullet?
Yeah, oh good God.
You beat Keanu Reeves?
you beat
Yes.
Keanu Reeves.
That's
The most epic actor of all time.
And the
That's
most
all I
precious
got.
human. So precious.
Sorry.
You're precious.
Also, the only one of like 4 men that apparently are going to be saved, according to the movie To Wong Fu. Thanks for everything, Julie Newmar.
It's true.
That
Oh,
is
wait,
a
what about wait?
long
Keanu
way.
Reeves was no, he was.
He's not in
He's
it,
not in
but
it.
he's
He's
mentioned.
one of the men that they're going to save.
Oh yeah. I was like, he
When they're
wasn't
like
in that
getting drunk
movie.
talking about how they hate men,
Yeah.
they're like, we'll save Keanu Reeves and this guy and this guy. And I was like, I
But
know
that's
that name.
it.
Yeah.
But it's like drag queens, and so there's like 3 men there talking about the men they're going. Yeah.
Tu Wong Fu is
they
a
would
hidden
die.
treasure that most people have not seen.
It's true.
I
It's
haven't seen it.
fantastic.
It is
If you
so
want to see
fantastic.
Wesley Snipes' fantastic legs, fantastic legs.
fantastic.
Where is the body? That's Patrick Swayze's butt. Do, do, do.
Patrick Swayze's butt and Steve Buscemi's eyes.
That
And
and
his
then
calves and those heels.
I look good.
and then John Luke was almost there.
I think his character is really good. Entertaining.
Oh
But
great.
yeah, that's how you curve a bullet. Is you beat Keanu Reeves to answer your question.
And only Keanu Reeves.
And only Keanu.
I would not
Also-
try and shoot at Keanu Reeves.
Also, you can curve a bullet. It's just gonna be very, very small curve.
Well, you shoot is curving with a planet, anyways.
That's not technically curving on the plane system.
Didn't
because-
Mythbusters do an episode about this? And they were like, it's fake.
Yeah,
Moving on.
Deal with
No,
How
it.
many
okay,
times
so-
can we fold a piece of paper?
Here's the thing.
9.
Don't get me wrong. I love MythBusters. Adam Savage is a savage. He is great. But they don't scientific method the hell out of a lot of the stuff they do. So
We'll
it's
call
kind of give and take.
that
I
guy
withdraw.
Mark Wurchter or something like that.
Mark Rober?
Yeah, on
Yeah.
YouTube. We'll get him to do it. Can you curve a bullet when you get back from the Bahamas, swim with
Mark
sharks?
Rober.
Can you curb a bullet? We know
What,
you
do you
can
know
make a
him
pool of
too?
Jello.
You
Oh,
know-
you're talking to me.
You know.
You're talking to me.
That's where he did the pool of Jello was in
I
Utah.
know. Yeah.
Like,
I know. And I know the area because I know someone who lives 2 houses down from there.
it's in the same area. I'm pretty sure that the What's Inside guys are in.
That's
Probably.
Kaysville.
Yeah, it's probably
So
like
that house I used to treat all the time.
That's in Utah.
YouTubers in
All these
Utah.
things I didn't know about.
Yeah.
Wow.
he has a Studio C sticker in his workshop.
That's cool.
And Cody's lab is here.
All these cool people that live in Utah.
Crack
The guy who's
brain.
the copper armor you were talking to
Yeah.
at FanX.
Yeah, I figure.
All I care about is Adam Savage. I want to meet him.
Hey, Adam
And he's
Savage,
on
come to
Utah,
Utah.
Yes, actually, he has been to Utah several times.
Yeah, he has.
He actually goes to a lot of cons. He goes to a lot of cons.
All disguised? Or
Uh,
just San Diego?
Actually, kind of depends. Because if he actually has a Adam Savage tested channel.
I know, I watched that, but I only
Yeah.
see the when he's
The Seattle
San Diego.
or the San Diego.
Or it's like
okay.
the cosplay in a day, and then he goes to
Yep.
the San Diego Comic Con. It's like
Oh,
Yeah,
bear.
And he
well,
made
he
a
does the in a
Totoro.
day ones, and
What?
then he does some like crazy builds of his own.
You got something, you got that evil look.
Yeah, I know. I was gonna say he knows. You know Adam Savage, don't you? You've met him at least.
Yes.
I hate you. You are a horrible
Yeah.
person. because I
Met,
can't
yes,
be you.
no, no.
Yes. I hate
Wait,
you.
he liked one of your comments or something? No.
But how you and Adam Savage? Explain.
He was out over at Huntington Beach Pier one day, just sort of walking the pier while I was surfing one day. I went up to go and get some more wax over for the board, and he was basically standing right by the shop, and I talked to
I
him for
swear
about
to
5
God,
minutes.
you're lying. I swear to God, you're lying
So
all the time.
you've met him, but do you know him?
No!
Okay.
That's what I said.
I'm
Just
saying
met,
that.
no.
You got the opportunity to meet him.
Yeah.
That I hate. I hate you. I hate you because you know everybody or meet everybody or
I don't
you just
know everybody.
You know
Every time
everybody.
we pull up a name, you're like, and I've met him before.
Look,
He's a good friend of
Huntington
mine.
Beach, California
I
is a
trained
very
him in the Olympics. He's at the Olympics. He is a gymnast, the most professional in the Olympics.
No,
Not a gold medalist, but
no, I trained Sam McCulloch.
Yeah,
I know.
Different.
No, but
we all know.
one time at FanX, John Berriman bumped into me as he was riding along on a hoverboard carrying a
It's true.
poster board of himself.
I think the best
He
story
said
is
beep
when,
beep and then moved on.
when he went to go sing with Moody.
Yup.
That was.
I almost got run over by Chris Evans' golf cart. I would
I've
have died
met
happy.
You
the
want
Bushes,
everyone to
that's
run over
about
you.
it.
No,
You ran
only
in front
Chris
of it.
Evan and Docs, okay? Like,
You just want to run in front of everybody. Run over me.
it's good
Hey,
insurance.
tuition.
It's good insurance. Even though I don't have to pay off my car.
Get
See,
me a house.
If you get disabled, you get paid for the rest of your life.
Yeah.
So,
but
and
you
can
can't
sit
ever
there and
get
do
married.
No, my sister's married and on
You,
disability.
you lose disability though if you get married because you have
Not
someone you can
true.
depend
It
on.
No,
depends on the
because now
states.
she's just got approved for medicinal marijuana.
See,
I've heard that when like you have like two disabled people, you can't actually get married in a lot of
Well,
like, not in
no,
all
not
states.
two.
obviously.
That her husband's not disabled,
But even
So-
then,
so legally they can't stop you from two disabled
and
kids
she's
from
made it.
getting
She
married.
well,
has
legally
kids.
they can't, but they can take away their
They
disabled
also-
like financially.
They also can't take away your disability because though you are a joint income, they have to base it per person. So disability is per the person.
Okay, then
So, no
I have
matter
some
what, you're
facts to
good.
give to some people then.
No, because technically they can try to pull some stuff, but unless they're making over a certain amount of money, they can't do anything about it.
That's good to know.
And
then.
it's a generous amount. It
And
really
this
is.
was the day that Cracked Brain turned into a benefits and insurance podcast.
See, there are two Google sources here.
There are two Google sources.
You could have asked the married one about the benefits question.
Yes, but are you disabled?
Technically, yes.
Okay. We can now all, okay. We can all now say he's disabled. If we all want to go somewhere, we can get to the front of lines now.
That's how you get to
Yeah,
the parking spots.
legitimately, yeah. If I actually go, okay, I just found out maybe about 30 minutes ago that my license is expired because Uber. But yeah, now I can actually go
yeah,
back
I remember
in.
because I remember when I hit your age, I I got a new driver's license picture and I did the mustache as a joke.
Oh dear God, when you hit my age.
Yeah.
You say this as if you're
creepy
supposed
Las
to be
Vegas
wise and full
mustache.
of knowledge.
Yes,
What I want to murder him for still. Why didn't you
really-
make him shave? You would have saved us all the pain.
There are only
That's
2
funny.
times you are allowed to have that kind of mustache. There are 2 times. Being a police officer.
You are Uncle
He said he looks like a 70s porn star. I said he looks like a modern day pedophile.
There are 2 times you
can
can
take
do
that
it.
back.
If
You are
you're a
Uncle
police
Rico from
officer
Napoleon Dynamite.
or if you're in the military. The only 2
I'm not
times
showing
it's
you my
okay.
driver's
And you
license.
have to be in the uniform.
He
Yeah.
looks
Yeah.
I'll
old
wear a
in
uniform.
that picture, though.
Because the military, I would think most of the military only accepts a mustache unless you're in the field. And same thing with the police. They only accept a mustache and that's it.
Not a beard.
The only time you're allowed to have
Mm.
the only time you're allowed to have it is if it's for actually no, they don't accept religious reasons for it anymore, not for facial hair. And then in the military for Army, Marines, and some Navy positions, you can have a beard.
Because it'll look cool on the ship.
Yes, obviously that.
Yeah.
You look like more
Ah,
of a
shit.
sailor.
Yeah.
Well, no, it's
Yarr.
it's actually to conserve.
And you
water.
all get a free
But-
packet of hair gel wax so you can like
Well,
style.
no,
Bro,
it's-
if you
it's
want, talk
actually
to
to
Kelly.
conserve water. So
This is a stylish navy belt.
If you want
They're all
mustache,
just in the short shorts with their mops and.
Dude, I'd pay to see that.
I wouldn't.
I'll
I've
do it.
already seen it.
I'll do it.
Not with your hairy ass back and legs.
Just put some pomade in it and like some it up a little bit. You have the Fab Five on you in no time.
Excuse me, Dapper Dan. All right, he's a Dapper Dan man.
That
Ooh.
man.
This is okay. This is a
Do you
reference you all don't know.
I know this
Spray,
reference.
Play, walk away. Because that's a good thing for all people.
And 10 Friends lives in Utah.
Uh-huh. He goes to the same gym as our cousin.
Are you guys twins? Is this
Yeah.
something I? Okay, you are actually twins.
No, but yes.
Okay, you are actually twins. You don't get a choice.
I think they only have half a brain and
I
it's
was
split
just
between
born
them.
many years later.
Oh!
Yes.
Many?
Your mom just decided to hold it in for a while. Like
2 months.
gave birth to Lexi and was like, wait, hold up. Hold up, this other one's got to ferment
Squish it back in,
something.
like,
Squish it back. I take it back.
Not put it back in. Squish it back in.
Babies are squishy.
With those calisthenics.
Oh my gosh, calisthenics. That's what it is. Yep.
Calisthenics?
Cow tipping. That's how you do the cow tipping.
Yes, you need to do calisthenics to tip cows. That's how you do it, Stefan.
Also have some essential oils.
It's starting up again. It's starting up again.
Seriously, I'm gonna put some essential oils when I get home.
Okay, so guys, we need to make a shirt that's just 2 red ears.
Yes,
That's
with a
it.
cow in between.
Honestly-
On its side.
It's a math equation that's floating
Honestly,
around.
do that. Don't put a face in it. Just like literally that,
No.
and then that, and then literally just be like episode 153. You'll understand
I have no
why.
idea. I am making this when I get home.
Yeah,
I am
Please
making
do.
2
I'm
red
making a
ears and a tipped
reminder.
over cow. Also, maybe a question mark on the back.
Yes, I like that.
And a
It's
jackalope
gonna
on
be
the
a
sleeve.
question
And a
mark.
jackalope-
You're gonna be the
jackalope on
question mark
sleeve.
man.
It's gonna be a question mark, but it's gonna be in cow print.
Oh.
And the bottom dot is gonna be a cow's head.
Wait, is cow print like the Chick-fil-A
Yeah.
font they use?
Yes.
Okay.
Eat more chicken.
Chicken.
Except they suck. So
I don't like chicken.
yeah, Chick-fil-A's horrible.
I like
What
their
do they
waffle
sell,
fries. I like waffle fries, but I also like the fries that I get from Kent's.
Or you could
Those
get
are
Crisco
good.
fries from Carl's Jr., which are way better.
I don't like Carl's.
I like
Jr.
Carl's Jr. fries the most.
I like Carl Jr.'s fresh fries. If they're not fresh, they're
Oh, yeah.
horrible.
I had Cajun fries yesterday from Five Guys.
Oh, I was like,
They're
when?
not bad.
From
And then I was
Five
like-
Guys.
Five Guys.
I like
Yeah,
He's
he
like-
got it-
fries.
He got
I
a
like
single
steak
fry
fries.
from 5 different
No,
guys.
he's like,
Okay,
like, that's fine.
we're going in bad territory there.
From
Oh, I
Five
was just
Guys,
saying
what'd you
you got
have
a
to give
fry.
it to him?
Why'd
Just
you
get
have to
one
go
of their
there?
fries.
He's like, I got one fry.
Tell them
Five
I
Guys
don't
in a
want fries. I'll
circle,
just have
like-
some of yours.
It's like that meme. The one with the 5 guys and the one fry in the center. There you go.
Five Guys.
Five
one
Guys
fry.
one
no, he's
fry.
like, I went to Five Guys yesterday, and I just felt all of my arteries just.
Just
I
Five,
love
five
really
times
greasy
there was
food,
guys,
so-
and one time.
I'm
there was
old. I'm
fry.
trying to kill myself by cholesterol.
Game of Thrones fanfiction.
Oh.
Catch it on
No.
Archive of Our Own.
No.
Game of
No.
Thrones.
No.
Yeah, no one writes Game of Thrones fanfiction anymore.
No,
you should.
Lots of people do. Lots of people do. All right.
to fix it.
Stop looking
No,
this up.
no,
please.
I
Fix
don't.
it?
It gets sent to me ever since I even hinted that I was doing a Grey Worm cosplay.
Oh,
All of a sudden,
yeah.
people start
Hey,
going like,
because
Hey,
he's
Ed, we need
"Hey."
some
the
fan
one
fiction.
black guy.
You might like this.
It's not only the fact that he's the one black guy, but they happen to go and do that. Like, hey, it's like he's got no junk, but we're still gonna give him a sex scene. So the amount of fanfic that I've gotten that is basically.
I read a book one time called Iona, and it's like there's more than one way to skin a cat.
Meow.
It was a weird book. It was about dragons.
It was a weird book.
About
Yeah.
dragons.
Yeah. It was, yeah.
Is it
And
the Aragon
lollipops?
series?
No, it's not. The
Oh.
Aragon series is also.
Terrible. Yeah. The only thing that was good was the game because it was actually a well-built game.
No,
That's
the only
about
thing
it.
that was good about it was Jeremy Irons.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deep sigh.
I love Jeremy Irons
And why
so
he wasn't
much.
Scar in the Lion King live action is beyond
All
me.
the rest are lions, and then it's just this guy.
The lions is like,
I would pay for that.
that's Jeremy Irons. I think you're correct.
I do believe. I do
I
declare.
would pay for that 3 times over.
Yeah.
It's like that RT immersion submission that girl had, that she was in a shark costume and just like in a river, just, I'm a fucking shark!
Yeah, that was Christine.
Left
Oh,
shark.
it was?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
That was just a joke, like doing that
Oh.
thing.
I thought that was somebody's actual submission. I was like, this better be in the show.
See, I would like a lot of companies to start taking fan input, but fan input's pretty horrible most of the time.
Hey, we'll
Yeah,
take
you're
some
not
fan
wrong.
input.
Unless you're taking general audience, and even still sometimes it's iffy, but most of the time it's horrible.
Did you mean Voltron Legendary Defender?
No, we don't talk about what they did to Voltron! It was horrible! I watched the first episode and then stopped.
What did they do to Voltron?
They
Horrible.
ruined
That's all I
it.
have
so
to
bad.
say. Watch it, you'll know.
Is it a sex robot now?
I remain that the first 2 seasons are acceptable, but after that, it just devolved. Like
Charizard devolving too.
it's like Digimon when they go from when they go from their super mode to their like baby champion mode, and
Yeah.
it's like, why are you smelling pink now? And it's like, I don't know.
I don't know.
That happens a lot with guys.
That's Voltron.
Maybe
Yeah,
you.
It makes me
But
so
you
sad.
say permanently in your ultimate form.
I don't turn pink.
Are you Gatomon? Yeah, if you're Gatomon, you're always in your ultimate form. And you do turn
Yes.
pink when you become Angelomon.
No.
See, you just haven't,
No.
you haven't hit in your second form.
No.
My second form is a white woman?
We have a friend right now
Someone
working on
make
that
that a
cosplay.
I mean, I'm just saying. No!
Okay, we're making this a skit now.
My second form must be an irritating old black man sitting
No.
on a porch that doesn't like anybody.
No, it's
the
gonna be
crazy
you.
eyes.
I know.
See, the skit is gonna be you starting to power up, and then there's just a cloud of smoke, and there's just
A woman?
this. I want to speak to your manager, woman standing there in your place.
Oh, and then
Carly?
key in your bag.
And an A-line
Yes.
haircut.
With minivan keys in your hand.
My mom is not going to let me
And-
speak to your
and a
manager.
giant-
I'm gonna go home and salt about it for the rest of the night kind of white lady.
She's
It's okay.
that very
Carly, I'm just going to use
passive-aggressive
you.
kind of-
Yes.
I could see that.
Yes.
Everybody has their thing.
Ooh,
Literally, if
and
she
your
doesn't wanna
child's
hear
name is
about-
Absidy.
Why?
No,
Is
literally,
that
my
a-
mom doesn't wanna
that's
hear
a
something,
white
she'll go,
person
"Bye,
name."
Carly," and I'm like,
person name.
I don't put up with that.
So is Lakeland.
I just like,
Lakeland is a horrible name.
It is.
My
Or
cousin
or
was named
Navylyn,
that.
Navylynn.
Why?
My cousin was named that. And she legally changed her name the day she turned 18.
That's awesome.
Into what?
She named it, I think it was Suzanne, but it was a Z for the second
That's
one.
still weird.
I don't know why she named herself Suzanne.
That's like
I think
a-
it was to mock her mom because she hated those kinds of names,
Like
which I think was kind of funny.
old pioneer lady
But-
names.
Yeah.
Like Laura.
Well, more like 1950s kinds of names.
like Daisy.
But not like the good kind of female names, like they're ready to be old the second of their birthday.
Like
Or they
Murray.
are.
Yes.
Why?
I don't think I've ever
That
met
sounded
anyone
more like
named Murray.
Waluigi than.
Murray.
two Murrays.
What?
We have a cousin that named their children all old man names, and we always joke that if they ever go to like a rest home or something, and they're like, "My child is missing. Nolan, where are you?" You're just gonna get a whole bunch of old guys like, "What?"
I totally
It's
thought
an
you
old
said.
man name.
I totally thought you did the Waluigi wah, but instead of what?
I mean, Waluigi will probably just be there, just like, "Wah, shut up."
Get off my lawn.
Get off my lawn.
All these other video game characters are getting rehydrated,
No,
and they just stay the same.
Waluigi will never be there. He can never be at anything. I mean, if you've seen him in Smash Bros. Yet,
He gave
No, you
his.
He was in Mario and
pass.
Sonic Super Strikers, okay? He
Yeah,
told you to
but-
suck his dick.
that was it.
That was his one shot, and
He
now
hasn't
he's
been in
banned.
it since like I think 1990 something.
Because they put Pokemon and Castlevania characters in there, plus Bayonetta for whatever reason. Like, I don't know why she's in there.
Bayonetta's in there
Boobs.
because Bayonetta's fan base is crazy about Bayonetta.
Yeah.
She's just the most ridiculous character to be the most ridiculous character.
Yeah, literally.
They literally
Yeah.
have
Fucking hair clothes?
no worse than that.
And they deteriorate when she takes damage because it's like,
Yeah.
because that's a thing.
To
Yeah,
fight
that's the
one of the
thing, right?
bosses, the final bosses of the I think it was the first game, there is a guy who's dressed as Santa in a Cadillac driving up the side of a skyscraper who throws her guns and she catches flourishly out of the sky, catches on her goddamn foot because apparently just locks into it. And then she
So
just
feels-
continues on to fight her
It's
boss like
so
it was nothing.
beautiful, though.
I think there's a goddamn pug in the Cadillac for no reason.
It's a pug. You don't need a reason to
There's
have
also
a
a Santa in a goddamn Cadillac driving up a goddamn skyscraper, throwing 4 pistols simultaneously, exactly to where they need to be. I think like a mile away.
Even Final Fantasy doesn't go that far.
No, Final Fantasy is ridiculous, but not Bayonetta level ridiculous.
Like,
It is the most
They
ridiculous.
settle
game.
for throwing Cloud at Mach 5.
Except
But
for
to be-
big
It's
rigs.
fine.
That takes the cake.
But to be flashy just for the sake of flashy, she takes the goddamn cake.
yeah,
Especially with a name like Cereza. It's just so elegant and posh.
she's
And
such
white.
and white.
Ah,
very
she's
white.
such a stupid character.
With
I
her,
love
like,
her for
witchy
being
beauty
stupid,
mark.
but- Yeah.
Look, y'all are missing the important update that Rocco's Modern Life is back
Is it really?
on Netflix.
So they ruined it.
No.
Call me
So, okay,
when
so
Psyche
here's-
K gets a 3rd season dubbed.
Here's the thing.
'Cause I want to see his
Netflix-
disastrous life.
Netflix either makes something amazing or horrible. There is no in between. There's no. Yeah, that was a pretty okay rendition. No, it's either amazing and they nail it, or it is horrible.
Seems like Good Omens is the best thing they've made in a long time, though.
That's Amazon.
That's Amazon.
Oh.
Yeah.
But people did make a petition telling
saw that.
Netflix
I
to
saw
take it
that.
off, and they're like, "You are aware that we did not do that."
Yeah, Netflix was like, we promise to never make Good Omens, ever, ever, ever.
Yup.
Also, we don't actually make them. It's Amazon Prime.
Right.
Sorry.
I just look at it and whatnot with so many things basically coming back now. It's the fact that my kids are now into Saint Seiya. I was never even into Saint Seiya, and now
This might go.
see.
I only know that because of like cosplay.
Okay, well,
Like the bow folds open, and it's like, wow, it's so cool.
but it's like
Invader Zin's coming.
you don't know Saint Seiya?
I don't know it either.
I
It's
saw Gersher.
old anime series.
That tells you how far back we're going.
We went to Hot Topic.
The second "rawr" means I love you in dinosaur shirt comes back to Hot Topic.
We have come full
It's
Yes.
just
Yeah.
like, wow.
Or those rainbow bunny memes.
Oh my god, when you had to pay to get your memes.
Oh, yeah.
You realize that
And like gothic
you might as well
anime
just
girl
start doing
icons.
this right now because it's coming.
Should we
Yeah.
start doing this right now because it's coming?
You
No,
should.
because it's a
Someone
passion
start designing
project.
T-shirts now.
And then post them on DeviantArt so it can get stolen.
We're gonna just be
Oh.
trapped in this
No,
like
Redbubble.
endless
Oh.
80s, 90s,
Society
early 2000s
six.
circle.
Yes.
You shouldn't do that.
I've been in that circle this whole time. 80s, 90s, early 2000s. Tool just barely. Tool just barely became.
Frosted tips.
That is
Stream
not
now.
frosted tips.
It's
That is
getting
frosted top.
It's getting there, okay?
No, what?
Growing out.
No,
is
what
a
would actually
mistake.
what would actually be,
Okay, you have to tell that bleach.
I believe.
You know why it's like this.
Katie, call it how it is.
Is this what we were talking about that line? We just get further away from everyone. I can back any further up, but the couch is right here, and I'm in the corner.
It's like I said, I really like scary movies. I love to watch them and laugh at them because this disaster is about to happen.
This is about to happen.
You did not just throw something.
It's good.
It's good. Yeah. We still have audio.
We're good. Yeah, I
just
set
kinda
it
went
up there,
bloop.
totally.
Okay then.
Took a nosedive.
Here, you want me to do this?
Like Brandon's style.
You have been doing
I've
that.
got a big nose, so.
What are you talking about?
No.
Your nose.
The thing that I would love to see out of you the most
No,
is
me
all
and
of
my
a sudden.
poop.
Nope, not at all. I want to see you with spiky hair.
No.
I
maybe-
know.
Honestly,
we need a little bit
He's
of it.
literally done that and stuck his head out of the shower like, hi, well, I'm putting my makeup on and shit. And I'm just like, oh, God, back
So
up.
I try to
Brandon,
get
you
a
killed
close
yourself.
I was literally thinking that when he took his hat off. I was like, whoa. The Backstreet Boys just here?
Like, put a ramen noodle packet on top of that, and you're golden.
Look at this photograph.
Someone hold the picture frame over him.
Prince.
So he bleached the whole, like, top half of his head for Washington.
Mm-hmm.
Just because that was, like, the popular Tumblr fan art hair.
Yeah.
And then last time, the frosted tips were so bad. And it was
Nice
so
and frosty.
So,
I don't think you should change anything about it.
Well, I can say Rooster Teeth agrees that it looks like a dog pissed on my head.
I used to say that to a kid when I was in elementary because he used to do that, and it really did look like pee.
Wait. A kid you went to school with let a dog piss on his head for hair. Shut up,
and-
I'm taking this to its finality.
Yeah, and then he's like, well, he got it done like that on purpose, but it was like the most atrocious yellow on the planet, and like, I remember, like, I'm Bakugo, I'll admit it, I was a bully in high school, not high school, but like, elementary, junior high, I grew out of it, so will he. I have faith for Bakugo Katsuki.
I love how you said was and not is. Are you sure? she only does it sometimes. That's where the line gets
The line's
crossed.
there. I can
Sometimes.
see it. I can choose to be on either side. It's fine. But he got it like dyed, and I remember him coming to school in like 3rd or 4th grade, and look at him and say, "Did a dog pee on your head? Because that's what it looks like." And like, I was like the tallest girl in school, so like I'm cool, but like I can also be a jerk, and no one can do anything about it. Cause I'll like throw a dodgeball at you in recess. It's fine. And like everybody like got behind me, and this kid like was like a jerk anyways, and no one liked him regardless. And so
It's true.
It's like
He was
you
mean
just
to
gave
everybody.
me ammunition to do this, and I did it. So like I'm like what, like 9,
Yeah.
10? Of course I'm gonna say it. Kids are mean.
But is it good to be a bully to a bully? Is it necessarily right?
Absolutely not.
I don't know.
Put it
if
funny.
9-year-olds know the
Hindsight is
difference.
2020. I was cool.
But to be fair, like, moral ambiguity is like this.
Especially
so
when
it
you're a
could be
child.
right.
Well, see, like,
I wouldn't say that hindsight's 2020 because 90% of the time when people look back at things, they're like, "Yeah, I was right in that," even though they were completely wrong.
Looking
still.
back on that moment of my life, I was like, yeah,
Yeah.
I was a jerk. I've learned from it. Now I can be funny about
Well,
it.
see,
So.
like, and
That's fair.
I'll even look back over to the quote-unquote bully that I had over in school. He gave me the best sense of humor because of it. And it's
the ass out of all my bullies, and they always became my
well,
best
it's like
friend.
yeah, it's like I never had to go and worry about that. But that dude would just like light into me so frequently that I basically just had to have a wit after that, and then we became friends. I was like, oh, this is actually kind of now fun.
Yep.
And he stopped being an ass. I learned to be a little bit more funny, and then we just went on a tear of making people laugh.
See, and the moral of my story is I'm actually friends with that kid now. I designed one of his tattoos, and now he has it on his
Was
body.
it a dog peeing on the head?
No,
It's that kid that's always peeing off. He's
Oh,
got to a
Cal-
dog.
Calvin and Hobbes.
no, it's like a
Yeah, he's peeing off
like
the
a gay
Hobbes.
rights thing
Yeah.
that he did
Like
for
a
him and his
pride
boyfriend,
thing,
with like
yeah.
the pride flag and like
That's cool.
the different symbols put together. And he was like, I don't really know how to draw this out. And like, I know you've done art in the past because we continued going to school together, and like we didn't talk because he moved away. And then he recontacted me on Facebook, and I was like, I was terrible to you. And he's like, I was terrible to you too. Okay, and we're like, fine.
the times when Katie's like,
It's like,
He
He
was.
Okay.
he was a twin, so
He
there was
was a
another one. There wasn't just one.
Okay.
There
Well,
was
Joke's on
two.
him. She had 2 older siblings that went and knocked on a door one time and settled some things.
Settled something.
No.
But like, we're
I-
friends now.
I
and
hear
so,
you there because I had a little sister who used to get picked on all the time, and we had when we had some neighbors that were kind of neighbors, a little far away because farms always kind of far away.
It's like, the neighbor
Yeah.
just down the way. It's like, how far?
Yeah.
I don't know.
like 5 miles
5
that
miles.
way.
Like
Yeah.
2
Cool.
songs?
Yeah.
2 songs?
You're so right.
It's like, which songs? I don't know, 2?
2
Yeah.
Bohemian Rhapsodies. That's far.
Yeah. No, but she used to get picked on all the time by these 2 farmer kids, and they were both twins. And they used to get away with it because they were each other's cover story for everything.
Yep.
And they could
exactly
get
what
away
they
with
would
it because they're like, I don't know which kid I saw. I think it was that one.
Because they look
I can't tell."
identical until one
Yeah.
of them dyes their hair pea.
So I caught one of the kids picking on my sister one day at school. Pushed her down into the wood chips. I was like, hey, you should come check this out over here around the corner. And he's like, oh, I'm going to do that. So I was like, grabbed him by the back of his shirt. He's like, yeah, you're going to do that. Kicked his ass real quick. Never dealt with him for like 3 years. And then
his revenge.
I moved away and came back and met the 2 of them, and they looked nothing alike anymore. The 2 of them didn't look the same at all. And then became best friends with them for quite a while, and it was just so weird because I was like, I remember kicking both your asses for the longest time.
Where were you with my 4th grade teacher? She was a bitch.
I didn't stand for bullies because so when I was young, I got bullied by a kid for the longest time, and then finally was just like, why am I letting this happen? Kicked his ass, and then just took care of all the bullies at schools after I moved.
See, I never did like fisticuffs. Like once, max.
Oh my god, you
maybe.
used that term too!
It's a great term.
Thank you. That is a
wonderful.
great
Fisticuffs.
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 Like I would always hurt people with words because they dig deeper and stay with you longer.
You're going for the psychological damage. Just, I'm messing you up now,
I only
and when
can
you're an
be people who are
adult.
mean to other people because, like, yeah, I can be a bully to the bullies because they're not gonna pick on me.
Carly's mean to me.
That's because you're weak.
So you are still the bully. We do understand this.
See, but some of you all laughed. I stuck up for you.
You're just loser.
I was the girl that like cried over everything, and now I cry less over everything. Like you thought I was bad, now just you should have seen me when I was
You-
like 2nd to 6th grade.
Growth.
I like cried so much the saltiness like replenished itself in my body and made me grow.
There was no more water. It was just salt.
Maybe that's why I didn't grow since. What grade was it again?
Fuck off.
Salt's tended to
That
grow.
great.
There was no water for you to grow anymore.
Seriously, I was the tallest kid in my class, even passing the boys. Well, and then 4th grade hit, and everyone just like, and I'm like, ah!
See, and then they picked on you.
No, just the 4th grade teacher.
Mm.
Yeah.
Teachers picking on kids is like the most like. I don't care who you are. Like you are
Yeah,
in a
my
position of
4th
power, and like you should treat those kids with respect.
Yeah,
Unless,
my 4th
like,
and kind of
not even
7th grade
unless.
teachers were not cool to me. And my parents got them both fired.
See,
It was a
I,
private school, so
I-
good.
Okay.
I look back to 2 of my meanest teachers that would actually like make fun of us in class. I remember 100% of everything that they taught. I don't know what it is. Like they were mean to the entire, like they were horrible people. Mrs. Garvin, she was so bad. I actually had to go to therapy in 4th grade to go and actually deal with the emotional stress of dealing like in her class. I remember everything from that class, and like she made me in love with math. And then my 2nd year in Japanese, that teacher would come up and not only like verbally abuse you, he would sit there like he had a kendo stick and would come over like a boken and sit there and like whack on desks and whatnot. There were a couple times he missed. Okay. And like I remember everything in those classes, and I've asked other people that were in those classes. We all remember. So I don't know what it is about those teachers specifically. Messed up human beings, horrible human beings. I think they're the most fantastic, actual like the best teachers do like weird fucked upness and whatnot.
Question: did you call Mrs. Garbin Mrs. Garbage? Because that's so easy.
No,
That's easy.
no.
Like,
Here's
that's
No,
like
you don't
natural.
need to die.
Here's why we didn't
Put it in
do
her
that.
face.
Okay, Mrs.
Yeah.
Garvin, horrible human being. Mr. Garvin, the greatest substitute teacher that had ever walked the planet. He's the one that taught us that you could go and actually make electricity through potatoes and through lemons through actual experiments that he would do in class. He would he would actually just bring them and like, hey guys, check this out, and he'd make a Tesla arc with them and be like, oh my god, do it again, do it again, do it again.
Where's the thing you got last night?
I don't remember. Anyway, what also he would do is he was actually a professional yo-yo champion, and he would bring over a yo-yo, and just during the random bits of class, he would just start doing tricks, and all of us would be like,
It's like he's walking that dog.
like
Are
legit.
you sure you lived in California? Because I had a substitute teacher who was also a professional yo-yoist. That's where I learned to do yo-yo from.
He was from Iowa, and like I said, he had like just the weirdest stories and whatnot. I don't remember 1 ounce of actual teaching, but I remember stories of like, I got high with Pink Floyd once, and I'm like, where?
So he's you, but better.
Yeah.
You know, based off the story, I bet it's the same person. He just like travels wherever the wind takes him. He's
Like a leaf on the wind.
freelance substitute teacher. He has a skateboard and just like yo-yos himself from state to
How
state.
do
No,
do
I can literally see Mr. Garvin doing that.
Like he's
Right
like
with this
walking the
guy.
dog on a skateboard. He's just like going. He's like, that man is walking 2 dogs with skateboard and yo-yos.
No, they're pulling him and the skateboard.
No, like he used to sit in the middle of class and he'd do, I forget what the hell it's called, but you wrap it around your finger, and then it just sits on the loop, and he'd just sit there for like 10 minutes to it, and you're like, how is that thing still spinning?
Like a little tightrope.
How? Yeah,
Yeah.
he'd sit there for 10 minutes, and he'd just toss it back down, recharge a little bit, put it back up, let it sit there.
Yeah,
He'd
like
just stay like there, it just flips and shit. It was just nuts.
Mr. Garvin would do crap like he'd just be walking by and like kind of tassel it over on his fingers and whatnot. I'd be like, oh, that's kind of cool. And then all of a sudden, like he would sit there, do that, flick it, and it would like literally travel around 2 desks and sit there, and we're like, how is it doing this and whatnot? And then it'd come back and then do a different route, and you just see him basically like kind of marionetting the entire thing and whatnot. It's just like, I'm enthralled. I love this. And then Mrs. Garvin would come back and we'd all hate life. Okay, so yeah.
Disappointment.
Was she a short, really big woman who had keys that dangled by her neck? And it was
No, she was short, skinny, black hair, really wrinkly, and talked and would kind of say an M at the end of everything. It drove us all insane.
So you mean like a CW teen show villain?
Yes,
Yes.
Like
she would
that's-
talk out of the side of her mouth.
I think she's going to be on Riverdale next season. Where Archie fights another bear.
The worst teacher we ever had back in my school in Maine, we had a teacher. Yeah, I know. I've gone to several schools, both in Utah and Maine, so it's fair to say that. But
We have otter pops, sir.
your otter pops suck. I don't care what any of you say, blah, whatever.
Otter pops are life.
But we actually got her fired. She was that bad. So she used to have us. She would have us put our desks against the wall, have us all sit like a ring around that. We were not allowed to talk at all in any of her classes unless we were answering a question from her directly. And if you answered wrong, she'd explode on you in anger. And whenever she left the classroom, she'd be like, I'll be back, and just walk out of the classroom. But she had keys that dangled from a keychain around her neck. And it was like, I swear, 1,000 keys on that goddamn thing, just as she walked. And we'd all just like sneakily turn around and talk shit behind her back. And, you could hear her coming back every time. One day she forgot to do that. She didn't have her keys on, and none of us noticed it when she left. She came back in and saw all of us turned around talking, and she swore at us for, I swear to God, an hour. For the rest of the fucking class. She just was swearing and yelling, saying that we were all the worst demonic children that she's ever met. So me and my best friend of that time both went to the principal and were like, so, yeah, she did this. That's unacceptable. And he's like, okay. We've just been needing a reason to fire her. I was like, yeah, thank God.
Those keys are probably the souls of all the children she's like crushed their hopes and dreams, and like
Seriously.
them jangling or like them like warning like she's coming.
Like, it was the
I need a
scariest
necklace like
sound of
that.
my... It was the scariest
They're
sound of my
warning
childhood.
you.
No, literally, it was the scariest sound of my childhood. Whenever I heard that noise, it didn't matter if I was at school or not, I immediately just like she's coming.
You don't
She's
wanna give
here.
random
She
keys
knows.
then.
In all seriousness, though, did she ever really try? Did she ever put those keys down?
No, never. Just that one day. The only day. For the 2 years I was at that school, the one day was that day.
Why did no one have just like a rogue pouch of keys? Just as soon as she put those down, you just start putting keys on there for days. Alright, her 1,000 keys jumps up to 2,000 keys.
Here's the thing.
Look, she might
Don't
hate
mess with
y'all.
her.
I don't give a damn.
That was just for talking. I could only imagine if we were standing out of our seats. Oh my god, she would have killed us.
Look,
I've seen her smack children's
And
hands
then
before.
she could have added more keys to her collection.
look,
Yes.
look, Mr. Okayama, alright, the guy that I was telling would sit there and like hit with the kendo stick and whatnot, we wrapped that thing in so much duct tape that the next time he swatted something, it just basically acted like a Nerf bat. And he was sitting there like, I hate you kids, and started cussing us in Japanese. And then during class started trying to unwrap it. We went through 7 duct tapes. Alright, he gave up after two layers and was like, I can't do this anymore. I was just like, mission accomplished. Alright, like I said, horrible human being. Remember everything from his class. Love to mess with him.
My 4th, 5th, and then later 8th grade and 9th grade PE teacher, Mr. Wright, was so freaking cool. Like, we really liked each other. But I'd say something like, I'm funny, haha, you know, just something that I thought was hilarious. And he'd be like, Carly? He'd either say, let the cut under your nose heal. Or if I wanted a clown, I would have gone to the circus. And I'm just like, yeah, the whole class had that memorized by the end of the year.
See, I think you would have actually loved my ceramics teacher more than I would, because he would show up to class and be like, kids, no one mess with me. I am too high right now. And sit down. And I'd be like,
What?
we are absolutely messing with you.
I had a ceramics teacher that would do that too, and he would teach us how to make shanks because he used to go to prison, and he was like, "This is how you guys make a shank out of something if you don't have anything." And so he would like literally take like wood, just like wood. He'd be like, "This is how you do it," and I'm like, "Why are you teaching me this?" Like, what about the throw pots though? What about that? What about my pinch pot?
So
That
are,
was me. That was me.
are you gonna show us how to make them then?
I still know how to make a wooden shank.
Yeah, see?
I can
See, I'd be
attest
the
to
one
that.
that's like, can I learn how to make a shank? Like, I'm down to teach. I'm
Craft
down to learn
night.
this. I'll teach other people. I'm down.
Just
Yeah.
Tonight,
And
we're
he
gonna learn
would
how
like
to
he
make a
wouldn't
shank.
come drunk per se, but he would definitely come irritated from the night before. And like we were like, I was in AP jewelry, but he was in charge of like AP 3D, and so like ceramics kid plus Katie, because I was the only one. It's like I would always have to like venture across the hall to the ceramics, because I only took one ceramics class from him because he scared me, and then I did jewelry, but I had to still go over there because he was the one in charge, and we would just like sit there, and he would just tell us stories, and then he'd be like, okay, let's see your guys' pots. I'd be like, what does that mean?
I think one of my favorite teachers that I ever had that I really respected, he was this fat fucking guy. I mean fat. He was like 300 something pounds. And at first it was like, you're our gym teacher? How can you be our gym teacher? Like, if you can't do it, how can we do it? And I literally spoke up to him one day. I was like, so if you're going to make us run at the beginning of class, which sucks, we all hate it, and we're just kids. Cause
Like,
I was
run
like,
a song, walk a song, run a
Yeah.
song, walk a song, aerobics.
Yep. I think I was like 12 at the time.
I like PE.
For 45 minutes.
Yeah,
Thanks,
you've
Mr.
never heard
Romander.
the song thing?
And they would always purposely choose
Yeah.
longer songs for the run songs.
I know.
It's like listening to Coldplay is so hard for me. But
No,
what
but
are you talking about?
education.
Is I swear to God, don't hit the button. Okay.
no, but like there's one day he was making us run. I was like, "How are you gonna make us run if you can't even run this?" And this 300-pound man starts sprinting around the gym that whole time, sprinting, running faster than anybody there. And we had kids from track that were like gods with it. He shows us off so hard. No, don't you dare! I will end your life.
Yeah, it's not that bad.
Don't do
No.
it.
No.
Earl.
Yeah.
Thank you. I'm gonna date you now.
No,
I'm
like,
sorry, everybody.
I
I'm dating
wanted-
Katie now. She is my protector.
I wanted to do something. I'm severely disappointed right now. I've touched some of those in the past, and they are.
After
Quite
this
shocking.
podcast, you're gonna do it, and then it's gonna be like the worst thing you've ever felt.
Well, like, let me see. I'm not gonna touch you with it.
Fine.
Well,
We'll
shit, why are we
we'll
going
put
like
one
I was
hand
gonna
in
do it with
water
Katie.
and you can touch it with the other. Let's see how that works out. Let's get those electrocurrents going. That's science.
See, okay, now how
Potato?
it's like how you were going and talking about your favorite teacher there. My favorite teacher was we had a class that was an elective, was it aircraft watercraft design. That teacher was amazing. Primarily for the fact that he really did not care if anyone came to the class. Like, would legitimately be like, "You guys came to the class. You know, you really don't have to show up. Like, ever. Just don't go. Just don't come to school." And we'd be like, "Okay," and we all like had perfect attendance because we all wanted to actually come to the class, specifically because all he would do is he would give us an equation, give us like, okay, now this is how it applies over to planes. This is a really effed up thing that we did over inside the Air Force, and that's all the class was story time. On top of that, what he would also do is like the one time we had, we were supposed to go and have a field trip. He had talked about the entire time like, when we have a field trip, we're not going to actually do the field trip. We're not going to go and do it. And I'm like, okay, fine, whatever. We took the field trip, got halfway to the destination. On the bus, he goes, "F it, we're going to Disneyland." And we're like, wait, what? And he's like, yeah. So that whole, like, we're going to go to the Science Museum? No, we're going to Disneyland. I'm going to show you this stuff in action and whatnot. Best field trip ever because he already knew, like, everyone there and was just sitting there like, okay, we're going to go behind the scenes. We're going to go and do this. We're going to talk to the ride operators, and we're going to show you guys through physics how all of this stuff works. I never learned one thing, but I rode Space Mountain like 9 times.
I think
Absolutely love that teacher.
I think that one of my absolute favorite teachers that I respected the most was my teacher back in science. My science school that I went to was a charter school that focused on science. I had always been into prosthetics. I've been into like since I was 10 years old. And I got into a class that was biomedical engineering. I was like, I need this class. So I went, did the class for a while, and she's like, "You seem to have an interest in it." I was like, "Yes, I do. It's what I want to go into when I grow up." And she's like, "Okay." So since she was a teacher for the University of Utah, she was like, "I got some hookups for you. I'm going to do something for you." The next week, the entire week, I got to spend up at the University of Utah working at both the what the hell is it called? The genetic research for all the cancer research, and also all the limb study that they were doing up there, which was amazing.
Ethan, you're like a quarter of the way out of the screen. You don't have a head.
That's okay.
I just look back and was like,
Yes.
Not
None
to
of
be
you
a
can see
buzzkill,
me.
but we have
But
to
I am
catch a
here.
train at
It's okay. Yeah.
Lay.
8:05.
Yeah. It's okay because
Public
we need to.
transportation, minimize your
Oh,
carbon
yes.
footprint.
Yeah, because
Love
we
the
need to
environment.
end anyway because this is almost an hour and 45-minute podcast.
We started
and we don't
after.
need
We
that.
started after
Yeah.
6.
So,
like we always do.
so yes,
Yeah.
what I will say is thank you very much to Lexi and Katie for joining us like all day today on
Thanks for letting us rant.
Thanks for being
so
my
much
girlfriend
Jackbox.
protector.
Right. So good.
Make a heart. Show the people.
Right. So yeah, it's like there are definitely some Jackbox videos that are
Jackalope box.
that was
They're
God
coming.
Oh!
freaking jackalopes. Jackalope. I still am not sure if those are real. A freaking rabbit with horns.
Yes.
My dad had one.
Okay, okay, but
I
anyway,
mean, normals have a fucking unicorn horn, so
You'd believe a mammal with a beak
just saying,
that lays eggs.
just saying.
has poison barbs?
So again, tune back in next Saturday, 6 p.m. I don't think we're gonna have a special guest on next week, but we'll definitely have good things.
Sad moment, not a running theme.
No, I need a break sometimes.
No.
I should. Anyway, thank you guys for
Just go
watching,
over.
and we'll talk to y'all later.
Hit that like subscribe button.
Now
That's
for
it.
the awkward
Notification
moment
bell.
where he tries to get up to
Shut
the
up.
top,
Stitcher,
but it takes him forever.
Spotify.
So we kind of do something to distract you all from this moment. That